Welcome in, folks. It is me back from assignment covering CSU college basketball. Those are two words I don't give a fuck about. Um,
Our war journalist is back home.
yeah, back here ready with you guys. And it's been what's crazy. I feel like I've been gone through like the crunch time. Everything was like playoff prep and yada yada yada,
Mm.
and I haven't had room to bitch. I haven't had room to lament my W's and
Mhm.
L's because I don't always get that room on the other shows I do now. So like this episode, we're all gonna do it. We're doing self reflection. Before we do that, let me introduce my wonderful co-host. I'm out of practice, Justin Herrera at Simtex Mex 93. Fantasy Jesus, he's always here to save your lineups. And then Chuck Bass, who I do see every Sunday, regardless, host of This Guy Suck and another fantasy show with me.
Mhm.
So let's just go through the news and nonsense. It's a slow news week. The usual happened. A top 10 quarterback got injured, just normal every week shit. Justin Herbert is out for the season, and we get to watch Easton Stick. When I tell people that guys like Baker Mayfield or a guy I kind of want to somehow force into the conversation. So I'm gonna do now, Will Levis, regardless of
Mm.
what you think, they're gonna start because right now we're watching Tommy DeVito, Jake Browning, Nick Mullins, Gardner
Easton Stick.
Minshew, Easton Stick. It's
Nick
guys
Mullins,
that
man.
yeah, it is year the waiver wire for quarterbacks. So there's
Mm.
not really much to say here. I think the
Yeah.
Chargers are dead. I think Austin Eckler, even though I've been like fade Austin Eckler, I've watched a lot of that game, and they all Easton Stick can really do is dump offs. It looked like the old offense before Kellen Moore got there and his bunch of dump offs. I don't like Keenan Allen as. I mean, I say I don't like him. You're going to start him because it's Keenan Allen. Who the fuck else you're going to put there? And he could have Devontae Adams numbers, but
Not
it's
anymore.
ugly. Yeah, it's ugly.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
well, Justin, Chuck, you guys got anything to add, or are we just gonna say it's sad and move on?
Fire Brandon
I would,
Staley.
Well,
yeah,
Just
I
do
would
it.
uh,
Just do it.
say to I would say two things. In any other season, this would be bigger news, but it's just like, okay, we lost another one. Everybody's probably already prepping
Yeah.
for it anyways, like you said. Secondly, like this being Dynasty Hour, like could be the all-time buy window on Justin Herbert, man. Like he's had a couple bad games that have soured people's mouths. He was still having a pretty damn good year without Mike Williams, without Joshua Palmer, without really utilizing Austin Eckler out of the backfield. Like hopefully it's year 2 of Kellen Moore next year. Maybe they promote him to head coach. His second year in the system is when those guys blow up. That's a guy I would be eyeing because I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Herbert owners were maybe, eyeballing, side-eyeing a little bit of extra action on the outside.
I know I had, and this is a pretty sharp league, minus one dude, and I don't even want to say his name because he's like infamously a shitty trader. Like this,
Hmm.
I've seen like in the wild out on Twitter, like this unnamed person's trade offers, but he tried to buy Josh Allen with like Justin Herbert and Jalen Warren and like a third and some other bullshit. And someone was like, "This is so offensive." And to me, this was a case of you could have just countered with like a first and get Justin Herbert and get Jalen Warren and been fine. Because people are that low on Justin Herbert that like a first and Jalen Warren and maybe a little ditty to make you feel like you won are bad.
Hmm.
To me, as a rebuilder, I think that's an okay like trade and it's counterable. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, Justin Herbert at this point, we don't know what Caleb Williams is going to be. He kind of sounds more like a prima donna, and a lot of people are starting to kind of like sour on that. Obviously, he's not going to not get drafted number one, but,
Mhm.
kind of personality traits do flare up, as we've seen with guys like Kyler Murray in the past. But, man, you really always got to analyze your first round pick as, am I getting that value back in the player that I'm getting? And you're definitely getting that with Justin Herbert. You're getting a guy who's going to be there for 10 years, dishing it out in super flex leagues. You're going to want him in single QB leagues. You're going to want him. So I 100% am in agreement. And I mean, if you can also, in my opinion, Jaylen Warren's stock is kind of, this is it. I mean, Najee Harris be damned whether he gets a second contract or not. I really don't think Jaylen Warren is much more than this that we're seeing right now. So if you were to be able to dish him off in a first round pick and get a perennial starter for the next however many years you're in your fantasy league, I'm all in on that.
Well, I mean, this was about Justin Herbert, but we all, like I said, we all think he's good. Let's put it this way, guys. Regardless of what we think about the Chargers, Justin Herbert's going to be here in 5 years. Whatever the fuck going on with the Chargers may not be, Justin Herbert will be. Like, even if Justin Herbert gets traded to another team, good for him. But this is coaching and malpractice. What's going on there? It's not Justin Herbert. Like, go buy him. Just go buy it.
Do it.
But the thing I want to push back on is like the Jaylen Warren thing, because there is more on the bone for Najee and Jaylen Warren, and regardless of what you think of them in the bubble as like talent, it's just simply running backs do better when they're in good offenses, and like the Steelers are so fucking bad right now. You got fucking Big Ben coming out of retirement talking shit on TV that it's that bad. We all know it's bad, but as long as if they could sustain a fucking drive, then both of these guys could be good, because Najee Harris, his peripherals are actually not terrible, and the offensive line is not terrible, and Jaylen Warren is actually pretty fucking good. But you know what's bad? Kenny fucking Pickett and whoever is calling the plays. Like, that's what's bad. So I'm saying Jaylen Warren is fine. That, like, I'm not saying he's like, a lot of people think he's an Eckler range. That's a little rich for my blood. I think he's fine. I just think that the Steelers are so fucking bad that they're all buys right now that it takes very little to go up. And I know that got off the rails, so we'll go off to the next point. I'm sad Andrew's not here. So Bill Belichick, it's the will they or won't they that no one wanted. Between the Patriots and Bill Belichick. I know that I don't want it to happen anymore. And the interesting point that I wanted to bring up, to stick to fantasy and not just go on about a Patriots fan, is if another coach comes in there, will that change your perspective? Will that change your perspective of like fantasy assets? Because like anytime a receiver went there, they're like, all right, he's dead. Go ahead and, put a bullet in his head, like dig the hole out in the backyard, put the bullet in his head. But like, what will change that? I know that football guys, Jeff Bell and Christian are pretty plugged in on the way the NFL actually works. So I give them credit where it's due. They think that not Brian Flores, but Gerard Mayo is going to be the coach. And I love Gerard Mayo, and I fucking hate that idea. I think that's a shit idea.
I would agree. I would just wonder, like, if you're Kraft and you're the management team there, like, and obviously Belichick's the management team there, but like, you know what I mean? Like the higher ups, Mayo is going to be kind of just more of the same. And I really push back against that entirely. Yeah. I would really, really be disappointed if that's the direction that they went.
Yeah, and then to bring it back to fantasy, it's like we saw with Brian Flores, we see it with every Bill Belichick disciple, it go incredibly poorly, specifically with offense. Even like they may have a good defense. Brian Flores is a good defense coordinator. I've drawn like Patriots had a good defense. Everyone's just hurt on the defense right now. All of our best players are hurt. But it's like I don't want more of this. Grind it out. All I need is a good defense and a quarterback not to fuck up offense, because even the 49ers kind of have that, but their offense is explosive. It generates explosive plays, and they spent and drafted quality players. And that's what I want. Whereas if you get someone like Bobby Slowick, or you get someone like Ben Johnson, I think that changes everything for me. Like it's a new Patriots, it's a new ball game. I know the fantasy community won't get there because we had so many people talking about Ravens. The assets will change on the team and the decision makers will change. So as long-term assets you have on the team are high-risk assets. Yeah, like Ramondre is a dumpster fire. Get him off your team. Everyone's a dumpster fire. Is 100% Andrew's right.
Pretty much already high risk assets if they're Patriots players. Like even at the best time.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it goes.
It's like, but that's what I'm saying is that like I think we need to look at a buy window for Patriots player. Let's say that realistically, the Patriots could get Caleb Williams. They could get Caleb Williams. They could trade up. They could, I don't know, the Panthers could go on a 4-game win streak or some shit. I doubt it. I don't ever see that happening in the next 2 seasons.
So I want to pose a question to you guys real quick because we're talking about draft stock. Realistically, they're looking more like the range of like Marvin Harrison Jr. If Marvin Harrison Jr. gets drafted to New England Patriots, does he immediately drop in your draft stock for the rookie drafts? Does he immediately not out of the first round, but like, he was like that top 2, top 3 pick. Does he drop maybe to like the 5, 6, 7, 8 round or wave right there? You know what I mean? Like kind of does that first round kind of push him back a little bit? And does that become a buy? Because now with like the possibility of new management, I think the whole Gerard Mayo thing is going to be, I think it would be fine because he's a player's coach. He's a former player, former damn good player at that. And he has the
underrated.
So if you get a GM in there that has the actual foresight to be like, all right, we have been absolute dog shit. We actually need to invest in these key positions on offense and then just let Gerard do what he was doing on defense. And we might be able to turn this around in 3 or 4 years. Do you think that, maybe that changes things up a little bit? And then, like I said, go back to the original question. Marvin Harrison Jr. gets drafted there. Does that take you back and say, maybe I don't want to draft him on my fantasy team?
That and like it's all the same. Like whether like Drake May, Marvin Harrison, Caleb Williams, for me, no. Because let's put it this way. I will say that if Ben Johnson would take over that team, I would feel better about a prospect than if Brian Flores or Gerard Mayo takes over that team. But I would still not lower them in my rankings and give them the benefit of the doubt they would do something different. And there's also the option too that maybe Gerard Mayo is just like, hey, let's go get us a 49ers assistant coach. Call me anti-Will Levis because I don't want that Mayo. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's where I'm at. It took me a little bit to get there, but I got you. So
I would say I would still buy heavily with how talented Harrison is. I have this like rule of thumb I use where it's like how much better of a player is somebody like Harrison compared to like a Pop Douglas right now when things are at their worst, and Pop Douglas is in here with like high 9 to 11 point games. I'm just sitting there like, okay, you slide in a guy like, and obviously it's different because different quarterback, different scheme, but I'm thinking like, okay, this is as bad as it's ever been, and they still have somebody in there who's kind of like a little bit of a diamond in the rough. You put an actual diamond that stands out with other diamonds, I'm still probably taking that pretty heavily.
Yeah, and like to me, I think that we even got to get Bill Belichick credit. Like they had a record-breaking offense at one point, and he used to buy receivers, and something changed. I don't know what. So like even and my point is that maybe Gerard Mayo understands that, and he was on that fucking team. He was on that team, that he understands is like, here's what we did. This is what we need to do. We need to go get Randy Moss. Marvin Harrison, you're a fucking Patriot. Because like I wouldn't hate, even I know this is an unpopular opinion, I wouldn't hate if we kept Mac Jones and drafted Marvin Harrison and then tried to double up on JJ McCarthy later if he falls to the second, or if we got to trade up to get him, and then basically say, hey, Mac, we know it was a tough time. This is a new era. Here's your one more shot. The first interception, JJ McCarthy's going in. Like, and I think that he could run a safe offense, but that's like me getting in the weeds. Next bit of news, so we don't stick around there. This will be pretty quick, guys. CJ Stroud got a concussion. Davis Mills, don't overspend. You probably can't play Nico Collins and womp womp, but it's just a concussion.
Just the cascading losses, whether the players are injured or not, has just been absolutely devastating. And I know that that's not breaking news, but I mean, it's so bad.
It's terrible because the QB position looks like a running back position on a yearly basis, which is crazy. You're like, all these rules built in to protect the quarterback, and these guys are just getting hammered this year. I mean, the fucking ankle injury that Trevor Lawrence went through, the fact that guy didn't actually sit out a week is fucking a testament to how tough he is. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. He literally, I felt like he got his foot snapped by that fucking lineman's fucking foot. But, I don't know. I'm ranting on.
I saw this week that only 4 quarterbacks drafted from QB6 to QB18 are going to be playing next week. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and it's like, and my point is that about it being quarterbacks is that it kind of devalues entire offenses. It's not Justin Jefferson is out, so I've lost to Justin Jefferson. It's just like I've lost CJ Stroud, and then let's hypothetically Tank Dell's there. Now we've lost CJ Stroud, Tank Dell, and Nico Collins type thing. It's just bad across the board, and that's like the huge issue. And then we'll go on to some other news. Yannick Ngakoue is out for the season. I know this is a defensive player. One reason I'm going to brought it up, I wanted to shoehorn in a topic about the Chicago Bears, because the Chicago Bears have become an okay team. Like, if the Chicago Bears were this team in the beginning, we could talk about them being contenders for the NFC North.
Yep.
Like, ever since Matt Eberflus took back over that defense, and they got Montez Sweat, it has transformed. And Yannick Ngakoue, even though he doesn't have the sacks, it's pressure. Like, you got to look like we're smarter than that. Sacks on everything, generating pressure. So, like, I think that kind of hurts them. And then they got someone like Jalen Johnson now, Jaquan Brisker's back there, and then TJ Edwards. This is actually like a pretty fucking good defense. Like a couple more pieces, and you gotta consider they're elite. And then for fantasy, going back to fantasy, they're no longer you got to start all your studs again in defense, or a must start defense. And I guess what I'm saying is like if you have CMC, you're going to start him. You have Breece Hall, you're going to start him, but you're not going to throw Zach Moss in there and say, well, it's the Bears, so, it's not going to happen anymore. You can't throw a receiver in there and say it's going to happen. Look at what just happened to the Lions. They have say what you want about them. They have a really good offense, and they made Jared Goff look like Jared Goff.
They have, I think, weeks 10 through 14, I think they've had the second best defense behind just the 49ers. And when you take every meaningful metric and kind of look at the rates they improve versus weeks 1 through 9, and it exactly speaks to what you're talking about. I mean, they're only, I think tiebreakers are the only thing keeping them from being one game back in the playoff hunt. I mean, they're on a rip right now.
Yeah. And that is Justin Fields' play calling. He's not the one calling the plays. The play calling for him is still pretty fucking bad. It's it's better, but it's still pretty fucking bad, So I was talking again, Christian Williams, that I'm not upset if they would keep Matt Eberflus if they just say, you've got to get the right offensive coordinator. Get it fucking right. Because, to me,
the opposite of McVay and Wade Phillips. The opposite of that.
Exactly. Yeah. That maybe they keep Flus, and I know that sounds fucking nuts, man, but maybe he's a really good defensive coach, and he knows, and he's willing to go. Him and Ryan Poles are willing to get talent, and you just get Luke Getsy out of there, and it's fine. That's just a thing that I want to put out there. And again, for to keep it to fantasy, that you got to watch the Bears. Like Justin Fields must start. DJ Moore, wide receiver 1. If you have the Bears are a bad matchup. That's what I want to say. They are a bad offensive matchup for teams. We got to put them in that category.
Shout out Justin Fields scrambling and keeping his eyes downfield. Big improvement from him since he came back from injury. Love it.
Yeah, he looks, and he still makes mistakes because I don't know if anyone watches Chase Daniel QB shit is QB class and shit that. Like I watch all that shit on there and watch a lot of his film. He still makes mistakes, but they're fixable. Like,
Yeah.
hey, get this out a little bit earlier. And he's doing like the off platform throws. Basically, the only people who are telling you Justin Fields are a bad quarterback are like boomers and data bros. That's it, because they don't understand that play calling makes players bad. Like he's gonna have bad A-dot when they call 8 screens. It's not his fucking fault they're calling 8 screens.
Preach.
Move on to the next bit of news. Nick Mullins is a starter for the Vikings. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
Nobody knows what it means. Kevin O'Connell doesn't know what it means.
Yeah, Justin, do you think this is better than Dobbs, worse than Dobbs? We the same? Like, where are we at?
Yeah, I mean, it might be better for one game just because a lot of people have seen Nick Mullins play in a while, but to be honest with you, I don't think it does much for this offense, which is a shame because Justin Jefferson is back. TJ Hawkinson has not looked himself for the past couple of weeks, and that's a lot of it's Dobbs just not finding him at all. He just, I don't know what the hell is like gone on. Like Dobbs fucking comes out like a fucking hellfire and then he just burns out real quick, man. It's just done after a couple of games. Like this guy was so active and he was running off of instincts, and then we kind of found out that maybe there's a reason that you were at NASA and not actually working in the NFL as a quarterback, because once this whole I'm on a college tear thing runs out, at the end of the day, you're really just not a good quarterback at all. Like you can't take on the pressure and you can't figure things out on the fly. You're not a really good processor. You're just kind of the guy who can make those throws every once in a while, run around and get yourself some yards. But once they figure all that game out and start set the edges, you're kind of just fucked. So, I don't think Nick Mullins is going to be much different. And it's kind of a shame because I was looking forward to this Vikings team actually making a run at the NFC North, but now with the Lions looking like the frauds that they are. But, what are you going to do? Lions will probably still win it. Vikings will probably be kicked out after the next 2 weeks. And then, it's back to square one. Hopefully they can get one of those quarterbacks in the draft.
I would say if you're looking at this with rose tinted glasses on, and I'll be that guy, Cincinnati, Detroit, Green Bay, and Detroit again. For somebody coming in when you have Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, and Jordan Addison, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good, you can do this if you believe that Kevin O'Connell's a good offensive head coach, which we have been saying all year up until this Dobbs meltdown. We were all praising him pretty hard, and I still feel pretty good about that. And all those weapons and those terrible secondaries. There's some reason to be optimistic here. I said on the show 6 weeks ago, maybe 7 weeks ago, that I thought Nick Mullins was the best guy to emerge before they traded for Dobbs. I said that. And now I get the chance to see if I was just a crazy asshole or if this might come to fruition, maybe just by default. But we'll get a chance to see.
He definitely went to the Brett Favre school of turnovers.
I have 2 points, and then we can go to the. We're gonna skip the next piece of news. I don't give a shit about it. That was just in case.
It's funny that next one even made it.
And I put it in there, and I literally kept pushing it down because I don't care about this at all. To finish off the Nick Mullins part point. 2 things. Justin, you said the Lions are frauds. I don't think the Lions are frauds. I think that people viewed them incorrectly. That defense was always going to be bad. And that's the problem is like the offense could be they added one linebacker. They had one linebacker and a safety.
Yeah, but they got a lot of youthful pieces that are aging into their primes. I don't think it's necessarily that their defense is – I mean, their defense is not great. But I think this offense is very archaic and they're not –
They lost Gardner Johnson. They lost a few guys that were pretty essential for them, and they were already a little questionable.
I'm not saying they're great. I'm just I think that they have time to grow into it. Every defense kind of grows into itself. You got young pieces like Jacobs, Hutchinson. You got Kirby Joseph on the back end, who I think is actually a pretty good guy, and then Branch, who I think has got some serious potential to be like a Tyrann Mathieu with the future. But I'm sorry, I took away from it. You go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I mean, well, for one, the offense, I think what they need an outside threat, and that's not because of the offense. That's because Jared Goff needs everything that Brock Purdy has. This is not about Brock Purdy.
No,
I'm just saying, that for Jared Goff to succeed, he literally has to have the whole package. He needs the outside guy. He needs Amon-Ra St. Brown. He needs the George Kittle. Right now, they've got the Amon-Ra St. Brown, and they have the George Kittle. They got to have an Ayuk on the outside. This combination of Reynolds, Williams is just not enough. But I won't stick on that. And the second point I wanted to hit is that I don't think that any quarterback could succeed in the Vikings offense because of the offensive line. Me, that fundamentally that is the problem. You have an offense that runs through play action in a run game, and you don't have good run blocking. You don't have good running backs. I think that's the problem. And this isn't me saying like Dobbs could be fucking terrible. I'm just saying that like we've seen Kirk Cousins look as bad as Josh Dobbs. I fucking watched it. Like people are like, well, what about Kirk Cousins? I was just like, I feel like I'm looking at him. Like what day is it? I'm like, oh yeah, we're December. This looks like December Kirk Cousins. So I'm just saying. So we'll pay the bills, and then we'll come back, and then we'll do our self-reflection.
Hey-o. Hold on one second. Boom.
Fantasy Sports Corp and Underdog Fantasy have teamed up to start your fantasy season off in the win column with Best Ball. What is Best Ball? It's quite simply the easiest way to win. No team management, no trades, no waivers. It's their biggest contest ever, and it has only gotten bigger. You simply have to sit and win. You don't even have to set your lineup. Always get your best score every week. Just enter a contest, draft your team, and Underdog will do the rest. What could make this even better? How about free money, up to $100 using our exclusive promo code? Go online now and use the promo code TSSDYNASTY to double your deposit up to $100. You tell them Gingerbread sent you. Good girl.
Good girl. Good girl, Gingerbread. Okay.
Our holiday girl.
We'll start out with Justin. And Justin, I should have had you do this pre-show. Do you have your team pulled up in our DC league? Because aren't you like the best team in that league? You're like the
No, I'm not the best team in that league. That league is Bob Miller from Dynasty Pros. He is the best team in that league. But I do not. If you have yours pulled up, you can pull yours up and I can get mine.
Okay. I got it. I got it pulled up. And the league's here. So we'll go to Justin's team, and I'll try to.
Okay, cool.
I can't share right now.
I like when we get into these kind of weeds, make it more personal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm dying to just talk about my fuck ups and mistakes. To go to some trades that happen. I never use sleeper. Fuck this.
This wasn't a very trade happy league.
No, because it's old school and it's hard to trade in. And the trade I did make, I knew that Jason would smash because he's a Dolphins fan. I knew, to be honest, Chuck, when I sent it, I didn't get back to the league chat to tag him and say offer fast enough without him accepting. So let me get moved to it. Give me just a second. Sorry, guys. Andrew's not here, and he normally does all this shit. I just talk. I don't do it. See what you think, Chuck. I bought Breece Hall. I traded Tua Tagovailoa and Ramondre Stevenson for Deshaun Watson and Breece Hall. I forgot Deshaun Watson was even on my team. actually.
most people did. You obviously, like, I would say Tua and Deshaun Watson right now, at the very worst, they cancel each other out. I don't know how great I don't know how good or bad I truly feel about either one. I'm also a little salty from the recent Tua performance, so maybe my bias will start seeping in here a little bit. So basically, Ramondre for Breece Hall is how I'm going to view that one, and I think that's pretty damn obvious where the cards lie on that one.
And then here's my reasoning, because, like, again, this is why looking at trades linear isn't always like the best way to look at trades, because Tua was technically my QB3 because I like when we made this draft on there, I had Jalen Hurts, then I drafted Tua, and I said fuck Tua. I remember because I was mad because Justin sniped me on who I wanted. Actually, thank God, because I wouldn't be in it because it was like AR. I'm pretty sure.
Anthony Richardson. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, so I took Tua, and then Brock Purdy was like low end QB1 because we were still like Trey Lance maybe, and I made that mistake.
Yeah.
That's gonna go under my L's. So I drafted Brock Purdy as like a fuck it, and like I said in our chat, I think Brock Purdy has a higher ceiling than Tua at this point because like the Dolphins are in shambles right now. Like their backup guard is injured at this point. Like their sixth man, offensive lineman is injured. Like their whole offensive line is on the injury report, and they just don't look as good because they don't have an offensive line. So with that being said, does that trade look better or worse? Does that matter to you? Do you think like that? Because like I feel good with Deshaun Watson as my QB3 because I could sell him at QB3 cost. And like I know that's not always the way to value, but that's how I value it. My QB3 I don't really give a fuck about. If I have to use my QB3, I'm upset because my two studs are out.
Yeah, I mean, I would say absolutely. And like you really like the theme of what you're talking about right now is like you have the trade and then you have the context of the trade. And I think there's a lot of contextual stuff that gets lost when people post their stuff on Twitter or even when you're just like chatting with the boys and shit like that, where it's like, I already like that trade just as face value. And then you go through the layers of your team and what you're getting. And I definitely agree with your assessment of the 49ers and the Dolphins, because like you look at the Dolphins right now, especially with the offensive line and all that, it's like they lose, like Tyreek is, everything revolves around Tyreek, and that's fine if you're a part of Tyreek. Everyone else is kind of suffering from that. The 49ers are going to be built that they can now finally, after years and years, they can finally withstand losing a guy or two if they have to and still operate at a pretty damn high level. Not that I ever want that to happen. But you're talking about raising your baseline significantly week to week.
Yeah, and like that's a good Justin question too, because he's a Niners guy. It's like, I mean, they got that Jennings guy that they could throw in, and he's just like just fine. Like they let CMC take a break from the end zone, and they threw in Juwan Jennings. So we got Justin's team up here right now.
Ooh, Abdullah for Leonard Fournette. That's where we're at, guys. Yeah, that is where we're at. I love it.
Yeah, that was some of our transactions in the league. Sorry, putting it together here, but yeah. So the team is now is Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Devon. Go ahead.
I was just surprised. I think we play each other this week, first week of playoffs.
Ooh, can we go to the matchup?
Yeah, we're the matchup this week. Yeah.
Let's see it.
Yeah. All right.
This is perfect. We can look at both teams at the same time.
This is like those old wrestling promos where they were both standing across from each other.
Yeah.
Right.
And
face
to give you guys context.
What a battle, though.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, to give everyone a context. Yeah, to give everyone a context, this is DC themed. That's why my team's John Constantine and he's Dark Side. That's all I was going to say. I was going to let you break down your team, Justin. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No worries. So, like I said, I got Josh Allen, Derrick Henry. That already kind of tells you I'm in for broke right now. I'm in to get a chip. I think my best part of my team is Amon-Ra St. Brown, Puka, and DJ Moore.
Oh, the young tight ends, you animals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Laporta versus McBride. What a freaking! This is a stud show right here. I think whoever wins this has a good shot at
Flacco.
championship.
Don't overgloss the most important part of either team at the very bottom left there.
Flacco
Flacco
versus
coming in.
Purdy. Flacco. Oh my God, that's been key. That's been clutch. But yeah, we also this is a weird league where we have defensive players and defense at the same time, which is never
fucking
played.
stupid. It's stupid. I hope that I hope that Jason bails on this league, and I'm gonna take over, and I'm gonna fix it. Just get rid of defenses, get that shit out of here. Like it's, but yeah, we got IDP, and I want individual like positions where you have to play a linebacker, a defensive back, a D line, shit like that, not just everyone playing linebackers and shit. But yeah, dude,
linebackers and safeties.
Yeah, your team is solid. And did you make any trades this season?
No, I'm not gonna lie. I've totally abandoned this league and just kind of let it fend for itself. And I could see I've come back and it's done very well for itself.
It's funny,
but
I've been on autopilot too, man. That's how I've been. Like you just do enough to set a lineup. You're not like playing waivers and shit. You just like set a lineup, go, good luck. You like almost treat it like best ball.
That's honestly refreshing. That's honestly refreshing because then it's just one less bullshit you have to deal with, and you're basically just trusting all of your football knowledge to come to fruition.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, to be fair, I think the only thing I've done is get like Flacco off of waivers, which has been key because, like Jagger said, I stole Anthony Richardson from him and he fucked up like 4 weeks in. And so I've been kind of like kicking the can ever since. But Joe Flacco coming out of nowhere, scoring 40 points. What?
So
What?
I'll ask you guys about this league, and something that I'm fascinated with, kind of like the variance between dynasty leagues, is who were some big guys that were on waivers that you think might have been like key additions for teams this year?
Demario Douglas, I could tell you because I got him. Demario Douglas. I got a lot of people. Half the league didn't get IDP, and that this is basic ass IDP. So like half of my linebackers, pretty much all my linebackers, I pulled off waiver wise because I got smart. And I'm like, okay, so I just didn't get guys that get tackled. Dontavian Wicks, I think I think he's significant at this point. I just got him. Jaleel McLaughlin, I think I got off waivers, and I think that's significant. So like shit like that. And then, like, again, like to give context to this league, I lost from Andre Stevenson. So, then I came back and I'm like, hey, I could win if I like gave a shit, if I like tried. So I was just like, let's go try to trade Rape Jason, whatever, and make him take Tua and then give me Deshaun Watson because like he didn't have a quarterback. Imagine Justice's team if Miles Sanders was good.
I've got another.
I drafted a lot of Miles Sanders gurus. I do that all the time.
Yeah, I've got like one of my best teams. I was relying more on Aaron Jones and Miles Sanders coming into this year than I would have. I felt comfortable with, and that's turned out to not be ideal.
Yep, and that's just a good segue to the next portion. It's what were some of your best moves, not in this league, but in overall? Like give us like flex a little bit, Justin.
You know what? Shoot, some of my best moves. I think that I've gotten Michael Wilson at the right time. I've gotten. I think one of my best moves was just setting aside my ego and setting aside the idea that tight ends you can't start more than one a week. I've always had this idea like tight ends just don't produce at that high of a level, and weirdly enough, I drafted just about every rookie tight end this year, and it's panned out. And so there are multiple teams that I have out there where I'm starting Kincaid, Laporta. McBride's obviously not a rookie, but I have McBride on the same team. Literally one of my dynasty teams, I have Kelsey, Kincaid and McBride. And McBride and Kincaid are my flexes, and I love it. I've fallen in love with the idea that tight ends are people too and can put up just as many points as a wide receiver too. So just that's been such a. I know it's not like a real like addition, but for me, mindset wise, that's kind of opened me up to where I'm like, okay, now I just need to start attacking, dynasty and fantasy like I did this year, where I'm just going out there, fuck it. If you're a good player, I just want you on my team. Or if you're a good player on a solid team, you know what I mean? Like the Bills getting Dalton Kincaid, I'm like, there's a good chance that he'll be the tight end at some point, and it just happened. So, I guess that's kind of like the best things that I did. I'm not really an active guy on waivers. I'm not gonna lie. I do my stuff. I'm the guy that says I draft really well, and then I just kind of let shit play out. And I've just been really lucky this year. I got snake bit by Anthony Richardson because I really liked the kid, and I thought he was gonna do great, and he did do great, but he got injured, so I had to fill in spaces there. But otherwise, I've been very blessed and very lucky that this year has been a solid year for everybody else on my teams.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm trying to get a football guy's injury expert, Adam Hutchison. I'm trying to get him to come to Jesus because he's like, I don't like starting tight ends in my flex, and I'm like, why? And he's just like, I don't really know. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm not saying like throw Kate Otten in there. Like, I'm not saying throw Kate Otten, but like I bought a lot of Trey McBride, because because like he did the normal tight end trajectory. Like he's really a tight end rookie. Like most tight ends don't ball out like Sam Laporta has done or whatever. So he's like pretty normal. And I literally told him, I'm like, you draft these tight ends to sit in your taxi until it's either time to pull them up or eat them off. That's what you do with tight ends. To me, they should call it tight end squad, because that's the only fucking reason I use my taxi squad. Is like, will Britton Strange be anything? I don't know. And I'm just gonna like let him fucking sit there.
Right.
But like Trey McBride is like, I'm not joking. I said this on Football Guys everywhere. I think Trey McBride is entering Travis Kelce territory. And the reason why I say that is if you look at the target distribution, even with Marquise Brown there, he is the wide receiver one. He's the first target. He's like almost
not even close. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's Trey McBride, baby. So like he's one of them Tito's. Evan Ingram is a Tito. He's tight end and title only. He's a slot player. He's every pass and play, he's in. So like guys like that, you should totally start. So damn, I run out of time. Justin, what is some of your worst moves?
Some of my worst moves, I fucking when I do pick up guys, sometimes I pick them up and then they do me wrong and I let them go. Long story short, I've let go of Zach Charbonnet in a couple redraft leagues, and it's come back to bite me in the ass a little bit. Yeah. But you will be happy for me. My main league, my like highest paying league, I kept him, so it's been okay. It's been all right. But there are things like I lost Devin Singletary. I lost faith in Devin Singletary the week before he took over the backfield. So like a 2-week stretch where I could have had like dominant RB2 numbers, I let go and then gave it to my opponents. So it's just kind of like little things like that, worst mistakes, just boneheaded things where I just kind of got a little bit too anxious to go find the new flavor of the week. And I didn't really like think about it and go, hey, maybe just, be patient with this guy. He'll pull through. But yeah, it's fantasy. I don't like being patient in fantasy.
That's built into the game. That's just part of it.
Yeah,
and that's
so true.
And that's redraft, because like that's why I fucking hate redraft, because I'm like, why would you drop Devin Singletary? Because like you have to make those decisions. I know that's why some people like redraft. Yeah. I was just like, because like me, like I don't do waivers. I am a long trader. I will look at your team and send you like the perfect trade. And I'm cerebral about it. Like again, I'll go back to Jason, a Dolphins fan. I'm getting me some Breece Hall, baby. Because if you think about startup value, Breece Hall and Tua, aren't like maybe a round apart. Like could I've lost value? It's not that big of a deal. Like it's in my opinion. So I guess we'll put off to me. We already looked at my team in the league and talked about my trade. Chris Olave has been a bit of a disappointment. David Montgomery, Zay Flowers, and Brandon Ayuk are exactly what I thought they were when I drafted them. Shout out to me. It's almost like I do this professionally. I wish I would have better tight ends, but Justin has all the goodies. I feel like he has my golden boy, Sam Laporte. He has all my golden boys, but fucking Flowers essentially. Like he's got Richardson,
Yeah.
he's got Laporta, he's got all my golden boys, and I hate it. But to give you guys my best move this season, my best moves were getting David Montgomery and Brandon Ayuk, like it's Zay Flowers. Those were arguably my best moves because like I turned around dynasty rosters immediately. Like I bought Brandon Ayuk for low end wide receiver 2 prices. That gave one league. I made one trade. I traded who did I trade? I traded Devontae Adams for Brandon Ayuk and the pick that would be Zay Flowers. You know, like that sounds great. My worst moves, I bought running backs this year. This is an evergreen thing, and like I said this to John Bosch, the Superflex dude or whatever, that I did the Tobias Funke, where it's like people delude themselves that this will work for them all the time, but it could work for me. And like I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy Tony Pollard. I'm gonna buy, I don't know because it was a dumbass decision. I don't know that was on me. So that is my reflection and what I give to you guys as fantasy owners this year. You don't buy running backs until you're in the playoffs. Now you buy running backs. Like now you can get a running back that's going to help you win. Chuck, you said you wanted to skip best move. We got time for you. Like,
let's see here. I would say best move I made this year in Dynasty. I traded a 2025 late first for Dalton Kincaid about 6 weeks ago. Feel pretty good about that one. I picked up Keaton Mitchell in 2 of my 3 main Dynasty leagues. I felt pretty strongly about that. Prior to the season, picked them up off waivers. So, yeah.
Keaton Mitchell was on waivers in the Dynasty leagues.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not all of them, but some of the ones that I created that I play myself for free content that I post online. And then let's see here. I traded before the season. Probably the one that I feel the best about, and it's a pretty good trade, is I traded Deshaun Watson, who was my QB3, and Hollywood Brown for the 2023 101, and I took Bijan, and I feel pretty good about that one still. So it's been a pretty quiet. I didn't get as many trades in midseason as I would have enjoyed, mainly because all of them got rejected. So that's a little bit disappointing as a big trader myself. My best move, and you guys, this isn't really a trade. I have a team that's going to finish 3rd in max points that I tanked 0-14 to grab Caleb Williams this year, and then I'm going to rebound with next year. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I know that the max points people, they hate you, dog. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I don't give a fuck, to be honest. Like it's either whatever you want me to do. Like I'll do it. Like I'm an ethical tanker anyway, and I think that like you got to take 1 year and then you need to try to win and acquire.
Yeah, this is a 1 year. This is a one and done. This is like my year from hell.
Yeah. Because that's what happens to me is I buy a lot of good rookies, and I'm like one team that's terrible, and I've done a masterful job. Like I'm not trying to suck my own dick here, but like it was a terrible fucking team, and I'm getting Caleb Williams. I traded for Michael Pittman. That's another guy that I bought, like Michael Pittman. Traded for him at the beginning of the season. Drafted Rashee Rice, Zay Flowers, Sam Laporta, Trey McBride's on that team. I accidentally won like 3 games because like the young fellas were balling out, and then I have Baker Mayfield. No one would buy him from me. I'm like I don't want these fucking points, you know? Like Baker Mayfield is like actually all right. Like take him, and then people are like, ooh, Baker, nah. So, and I literally think of you when people say that, I was like, Chuck would spit on you right now.
Fucking pieces of shit, if you ask me.
Yeah, but we're running out of time, folks. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I have my own tanking story that went wrong. So I ended up trading away my last quarterback, which was Kyler Murray, for 2024 draft pick. And then I was going to tank myself. I only had Zach Wilson, Jimmy Garoppolo. That's a perfect mixture for tanking. Ended up making the playoffs. 6th seed off of Tony Pollard, Raheem Mostert, Pittman, Ayuk, Trey McBride, ETN, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, with a rotating door of Zach Wilson and Tommy DeVito, along with the aforementioned Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. Yeah, that's right. I didn't use a second quarterback. I used Amon-Ra St. Brown as my super flex. And made it into the playoffs and still getting that number 1 overall pick, because the pick I traded for, that guy ended up sucking. So win-win. Gonna go for that title and still get Caleb Williams. Let's fucking go.
I was about to say, that's your best move, dude. Like, why did you say that first thing, dude? That's like having your cake and eating it too, dog. Because like in one league, like last year, my home league, I was like that. I had the 101. I ended up trading it for AJ Brown. Regret nothing. But like I was like the 3 seed with like the 1 pick, the 101. So like that's how I was able to get AJ Brown 1 for 1. Like you can't even do that now, even 1 for 1 pick. So excellent shit there. We'll end it there because we have another show coming on after us. As always, I am Fantasy Blue Chip, but because you're my friends, you guys could call me Mr. Jack. No, I'm just kidding. This is Jack. And with me, as always, is Justin Herrera at Simtex Mex 93. Also, Fantasy Jesus. Make sure to pray to him before you say your lineups. That's sacrilege. Don't care. I think it's funny. Chuck, what's your name? No, I'm just kidding. Chuck Bass. You can see him every Sunday at another fantasy show. And also, this guy sucks. And he's the Maxim Analyst of the Year. And we'll see.
Yeah, there we go. Finally, somebody acknowledged it.
Gotta get the Roman Reigns thing in here. All right, guys. You ready?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Appreciate it.